Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are cracking open a business strategy that's really designed to conquer one of the most unpredictable enemies of any trade business, the weather.
Yeah, especially for certain industries.
Absolutely. We're looking at that feast or famine cycle, and we're focusing specifically on roofing contractors in places like the Texas Panhandle, Amarillo, Pampa, where the climate basically writes your quarterly earnings report for you.
It really does.
Our sources paint this really clear picture. A huge hailstorm rolls through, and boom, the phone's ringing off the hook. Business is great.
For a week or two.
Exactly. But the second the skies clear up, the whole operation just grinds to a halt. It forces these companies into what the source material calls the storm chaser trap.
Tell me more about that.
Well, they're spending all their time and energy chasing these unpredictable wind events, sometimes hundreds of miles away, just to keep their crews paid.
It's a business model built on stress,
Yeah.
and instability. It makes it impossible to scale in the long term. And what's so fascinating about the analysis we're looking at is that it completely rejects that idea. It says this is not just the cost of doing business.
So there's another way.
There's another way. It argues marketing shouldn't be this reactive overhead expense like buying a radio ad the day after a storm. It should be a proactive investment.
Investment in what,
An
exactly?
investment in a system. They call it the digital lead machine. And the idea is that this thing operates 24/7, building year-round market dominance and stability. It fundamentally decouples your revenue from the weather forecast.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack the specific high-leverage digital strategies that create this consistent flow of business. We're moving way beyond just digital marketing.
This is about surgical precision.
Exactly. Focusing on efficiency and measurable ROI, the kind of thing a busy contractor or any business leader really needs. So let's start building this thing piece by piece.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If we're building a machine for consistent profit, we need dials that are actually tracking dollars in signed contracts, not just attention.
Right, not just casual attention.
And the source material is pretty ruthless here. They tell contractors to just outright ignore what they call vanity metrics.
Yeah, things like impressions, social media likes, general website traffic.
That stuff doesn't put shingles on a roof or pay the crew.
Not at all. The focus has to narrow immediately to indicators that are tied directly to the P&L statement, and they identify three that really matter.
Okay.
Number one is the local visibility score. This is basically a measure to make sure your company's Google business profile, the GBP, isn't just there, but is 100% optimized for that specific Panhandle region.
So not just existing, but dominating.
Dominating. The second indicator is measurable lead call volume. This is the direct conversion metric. You take that visibility and you turn it into actual phone calls.
From real customers ready to talk business.
Exactly. From people ready to discuss a leak or get an estimate.
And the third one, which I think is key, is the one that guarantees the whole strategy is actually profitable. Cost per qualified lead, or CPL.
Yes.
So why is efficiency prioritized first? I mean, wouldn't a roofing contractor who's desperate for work just prioritize closing any sale, even if that lead costs a bit more?
That's a great question, and it's a common trap. Efficiency is prioritized because it dictates your ability to scale and your long-term profitability.
How so?
Well, if your CPL is high, you just can't profitably outspend your competition over the long haul, especially during those crucial sunny months when leads are naturally scarcer.
Oh.
Keeping that marketing spend efficient means every dollar you spend is working as hard as a seasoned crew member, a low, predictable CPL. That's a sign of a healthy, year-round business.
That makes perfect sense. A low CPL means you can afford to keep marketing all the time, not just when you're desperate.
And this whole structure, all three of those metrics, they rest on one critical first step: dominating the local map pack.
The Mac that shows up at the top of Google.
Exactly. Think about it. A homeowner in Amarillo sees torn siding. A property manager in Pampa notices a sagging gutter. What's the first thing they do?
They pull out their phone and search "roofer near me."
Right. And if your company isn't one of those top 3 local listings in that map pack, you're invisible. That top 3 spot isn't a bonus, it's Yeri. It's the essential digital curb appeal.
Digital curb appeal. I love that.
It's true. The listener needs to get this. Customers see those top 3 listings as the most reliable, the most official options. It gives you instant credibility. You have to be there just to get in the game.
So by starting with those 3 core metrics, visibility, call volume, and CPL, and making sure you dominate the map pack, you immediately change marketing from just vague spending into a measurable, reliable investment. You know exactly what you're paying for.
Exactly.
Okay, so once the foundation is there, the question changes from, are they seeing us,
Yeah.
to what happens when they actually click. This is where it gets really interesting for me. The difference between general SEO and what the sources call hyperlocal SEO implementation.
It's a huge distinction.
So why would just generic best roofing contractor SEO be a disaster for a local tradesman?
Because the goal is jobs. Jobs within a 30-mile radius. A roofer in the Panhandle doesn't need a lead from Dallas. They don't need leads from Houston.
Right, that's useless.
It's a waste of money. General SEO is too expensive, it burns through your budget, and it gets you clicks from hundreds of miles away. It's like stuffing flyers into mailboxes on the wrong side of the state.
A total waste.
Whereas the hyperlocal approach it's surgically precise. It means you're creating dedicated service area pages that act as these high-converting assets, tailored for Pampa, for Amarillo, Borger, you name it.
So it's not just about naming the town, it's using the language of, like, urgency and geography together.
Absolutely. We saw this fantastic list of high-intent keywords from their local keyword strategy bank. This is all about targeting homeowners the moment they realize they have a problem.
Give me an example.
Okay, so we're talking about phrases like emergency roof tarping in Amarillo, TX. Or, for that region, something even more specific like hail damage restoration experts in Pampa.
Wow. That captures intent right at the moment of panic.
Yeah.
It's so much more valuable than a generic search.
Far more valuable. And we also saw examples targeting commercial clients, which is a different game. Something like commercial flat roof repair, Panhandle Regional Guide.
Which is more of a long-term educational piece of content.
Correct. The strategy isn't just about capturing crisis leads. That commercial guide targets business owners who need maintenance or planning, and that ensures you have a steady workflow during those, quote, boring, sunny months.
It keeps the crews busy year-round.
It keeps them busy year-round, not just when the sirens are going off after a storm. By targeting these high-intent, hyperlocal keywords, you move the business from reactive firefighting to proactive, predictable growth.
So the visibility is locked in, the content is surgically local, but what about the actual digital storefront, the website? The sources make a really sharp distinction between a nice-looking digital business card and what they call the tradesman-led machine.
The difference is sales performance. It's that simple. A business card, it looks nice, but it doesn't actually sell. A lead machine, on the other hand, which follows their detailed master service and implementation SOP, is built for one single purpose: conversion.
And it has to be brutally efficient, right? I'm picturing a homeowner searching on their phone while, like, literally standing outside looking up at their roof.
That's the exact scenario, which is why detail number one is non-negotiable: rapid load speeds. The source has this great anecdote about it. A stressed customer, maybe even standing on a ladder in the wind, is not going to wait 3 extra seconds for a slow site to load.
You lose a qualified lead to a loading bar before you even get a chance to make your pitch.
Exactly. You've wasted all that money you spent on hyperlocal SEO just to get them to the door, only to have the door stick.
Okay, so what are the conversion tools that matter most once the site actually loads?
They focus relentlessly on direct CTAs, calls to action. And we're not talking about some little link at the bottom of the page. We mean clear, unmissable, often sticky buttons that say, call now or get a free estimate.
And crucially, these aren't just sending an email to a general inbox.
No, that's a huge mistake. They have to integrate directly with the client's CRM, their customer relationship management system.
Why is that CRM integration so vital for, say, a roofer?
Because it cuts out manual steps, it speeds up the whole sales process. It's about making sure that potential $50,000 commercial lead doesn't get lost in an overflowing inbox, which, is really common for small businesses.
Speed is everything in that world.
Especially in emergency services. The CRM integration guarantees a rapid response and that you can track everything.
Okay, what else is on that checklist?
The final component is it's a foundational layer of digital trust. NAP consistency. Now, this sounds kind of boring, but it is so critical.
NAP. So name, address, and phone number.
Name, address, phone number. And they must be 100% identical down to the street abbreviation across every single digital footprint you have.
And why is that level of uniformity so important to an algorithm like Google's?
Because when Google sees your Name, address, and phone number are perfectly consistent on your Google profile, but also on local directories and industry associations like the Pampa EDC or the Texas Panhandle Builders Association. It sees that as a massive validation signal.
It's like a background check.
It's telling the algorithm this company is so legitimate and stable, every reference matches perfectly, and that stability feeds directly back into that essential local visibility score we talked about earlier. It's all connected.
That's a great point. It's not just a technical thing to check off a list, it's a huge trust builder. And the sources also mention the efficiency behind the scenes, right? The use of AI tools.
Yeah, tactically using AI tools like Gemini or Notebook LM to synthesize, complex technical data about roofing membranes or wind ratings and turning that into high-impact copy that actually speaks to a customer's pain points.
So the contractor doesn't have to become a copywriter.
Exactly. It's about maximizing efficiency through technology.
The trades industry is so built on personal trust. Historically, that means shaking hands, looking someone in the eye. This lead machine approach seems to be mirroring that trust digitally through radical transparency. They call it their what you see is what you get,
Yeah.
or YSIWYG promise.
That transparency is the digital handshake, and it works in two really critical ways. First, financial transparency. The sources note that all the pricing for common services is right there in a published master service rate card.
Flat, fair pricing.
Right. And this directly addresses one of the biggest sources of consumer distrust in the industry, that vague custom quote.
Which can feel totally arbitrary.
Precisely. The source argues that flat pricing just disarms that distrust. It builds confidence right from the start by signaling honesty.
Okay, so that's the financial part. What's the second way?
The second is reporting clarity. Every month, the contractor gets a dashboard, often built in something like Looker Studio, and the reports are very explicit about what they don't include.
Okay.
You won't see confusing marketing jargon, no bounce rates, no session durations, no impressions. You will only see pure ROI. Exactly how many qualified phone calls were generated and exactly what those calls cost the business.
So it keeps the contractor focused purely on actionable profit metrics.
That's the whole point.
And this emphasis on transparency and value, it seems to drive their whole content strategy too. It's not just the typical About Us page. It's about building genuine authority and becoming a trusted advisor in the community.
Yeah, long before the crew even shows up, we saw fantastic examples of these value-driven content formats. It's all about pre-answering a customer's fears and their objections.
Like what?
For instance, creating practical how-to posts, something like how to spot hail damage before the adjuster arrives. That immediately positions the company as being on the homeowner's side.
Or informative listicles that cut through all the noise, like 5 reasons metal roofing is the best choice for high plains winds. You're giving them crucial info tailored to their local climate.
Yes, and even more technical review comparison content, TPO versus modified bitumen, which is best for Pampa businesses. This strategy makes sure that when a homeowner or a business owner searches for information, you're the one providing the authoritative answer.
Which drives the lead right back to your site. And then all this authoritative content gets reinforced across all your digital platforms, right? To ensure the messaging is consistent.
It's a full ecosystem approach. LinkedIn is used for B2B authority to target property managers. Instagram and Facebook are for the visual proof, the before and after photos of great work.
And they even mention TikTok.
Yeah, and even TikTok is leveraged to humanize the process with a bit of humor. Maybe a short skit showing a roofer relaxing on a sunny day because their digital lead machine is still booking inspections for them. It's a holistic system. It's designed to generate both leads and deep-seated community trust at the same time.
So what does this all mean for the contractor who's operating in a high-stakes, unpredictable place like the Texas Panhandle? It's really the shift from gambling on the weather forecast and chasing storms across state lines to building a stable, predictable digital foundation.
One that creates real financial equity in the brand itself.
Right. You secure high-value, local work, and it doesn't matter what the wind speed is that day.
And the professional nature of the whole system reinforces that stability. The source material doesn't just promise results, it outlines these specific, structured next steps. It starts with a comprehensive digital infrastructure audit. They note it's a $1,250 one-time investment just to identify the exact gaps.
So you know exactly where you stand before you start.
Exactly. Then that's followed by reviewing the YSIWG rate card, which lets the contractor see which tier from a foundational presence up to market dominator fits their cash flow and their goals. And then, finally, you launch the lead machine, the 24/7 crew member that never calls in sick.
That structure is the key difference between seeing marketing as just a chore and seeing it as a truly scalable business asset.
Absolutely. But the core takeaway here, it really goes far beyond shingles and wind and the Panhandle.
I agree.
For anyone listening, you should consider how this hyper-localized, metrics-driven approach, where efficiency and the cost per qualified lead is prioritized over vague impressions, could be applied to your field. Maybe you run an accounting firm or a specialty manufacturing business.
Doesn't matter the industry.
It really doesn't. How much of your current effort is spent chasing the digital equivalent of a hailstorm? A viral trend, an unstable platform, a sudden, unpredictable spike in demand? Instead of that chaos, what steps could you take today to build the repeatable, predictable structure that ensures the work just keeps flowing, rain or shine? That's the true sign of long-term business dominance.